When I first started game development, I treated it like school. I'd sit for hours watching full project tutorials, pausing every few seconds so that I could copy what they did. But weeks passed and I realized something. I hadn't actually made anything. I was just following instructions like a zombie. That's when it hit me. You can't learn game development by watching someone else do it. Just like you can't learn to swim by watching videos of people swimming. And believe it or not, that's the belief that a lot of people have about learning game development. They don't think that you're learning game development by making games, including you. Because right now you're just watching tutorials, maybe even following along, and you're expecting to learn yourself. You think that a painter can watch a YouTube video about painting and then create masterpieces. You think that a writer can just write books by just watching YouTube videos. You think that a cook can become good at cooking by just reading a cooking book and not following along. That's the belief you have right now, and it's wrong. I'm telling you, it's wrong. Painters, they improve by painting. Cooks improve by making meals. Writers, guess what? They improve by writing. And game developers is no different. Game developers, they improve their game development by making games. It's as simple as that. And since you're a beginner, you're just starting out, but there is a concept inside of game development that we call tutorial hell. And if you continue with what you're doing right now, just watching tutorials, then you will fall into this trap, tutorial hell, where you basically can't do anything yourself. You can't make your own games, you can't make your own projects, because you never actually learned anything. The only thing you learned is how to watch a video on YouTube. That's the only thing you learned. Like your mom could probably follow along and make like the thing that they're making inside of a Unity tutorial. It's not like complicated stuff. You aren't using your brain, and because of that, you aren't actually learning anything. So if you continue just watching these tutorials, you'll fall into this tutorial hell, and you won't be able to do anything yourself. That's exactly why I focus so much on avoiding and escaping tutorial hell on this channel, because it's a trap that so many game developers fall into, because it's just a fundamental wrong belief about learning that's so widespread around YouTube and the internet in general. Because people think and feed you this belief that learning game development is different from anything else. They think that game development is like the only field in the world where you can like improve it by not doing the thing itself. If I were going to have a football match in 2 weeks, I would practice football. I would not practice basketball. Basketballs, in this case, that's tutorials. Football, in this case, that's making games. To improve making games, to improve your game development, you have to do game development. It's as simple as that. And Smartini, that's a scientifically proven way to learn game development, the most effective way. And that's by building and experimenting. And inside of Smartini, as a complete beginner, you'll release your very first game in only 60 days, even if you have no knowledge from before. So if that sounded interesting to you, click the first link in the description. And that also leads me to my next point, and that's that in game development, our goal is to make games. We want to not just make games, we want to make good games. How do we make good games? That's by making games. Okay? Yeah, you should know that by now. We are in game development to make games. But a lot of people, they can seriously waste months or even years in game development, like trying to learn with tutorials, but never actually releasing their own game. Like, it's crazy how insane this tutorial hell can be. Even I was in this. I wasted years, seriously years, in this tutorial hell because I didn't have this knowledge about learning that you should build. Your priority should be making your first game. That should be your priority. I didn't have this knowledge when I got started. So I was completely stuck. I seriously wasted years. And I don't want you to make the same mistake. So since this video is about telling you the most essential things that I wish I knew when I got started, the second thing is that making games should be your first priority. And we've already talked about this tutorial hell that you should make tutorials, but there are actually 2 other reasons why you might not finish your games in the future. And even though this might not be a problem right now, most likely you'll encounter one of them, if not both, because these are like big issues in game development and I see them so much. So since I already told you about tutorial hell, let's focus on the second reason why people don't finish the games, and that's perfectionism. Perfectionism is one of the most, if not the most common and biggest problem in game development by far. I see perfectionism so much in my own development and other people's as well, even a student inside of Smartini. So this is a problem that you need to understand. So listen closely. Imagine making 10% of 10 games, okay? You can imagine how that looks. Or you can imagine making 100% of one game. Which one do you think is going to improve your games the most? Well, if you answered 100% of one game, you're completely correct. But the thing is, a lot of people, they think that they don't have the skill or they're not good enough to make a good game, so they never make this 100% of one game. But the truth is, by making one game, even if it's bad, you learn how to make better games in the future. So you can probably see that if you just finish your first game, then your second game is going to be 10 times faster, and it's also going to be 10 times better, which are things that you wouldn't be able to learn if you were a perfectionist and you had this belief that you can do it. So what I recommend, making your first game should be your number one priority for a lot of things, but the main one you can focus on is that it will just learn you a lot of things and it will skyrocket your progress. And that's the only thing you need there. Just releasing your games, especially your first one, that's something else, man. And it's the best thing about game development. Obviously, releasing your game, that's the best thing. So as I said, releasing your games, that should be your number one priority. And with that said, I can move on to the next one, which is an increasingly big problem. And I see this a lot, even with the students inside of Smartini. I see this as a big problem. And again, also in my own journey, this is something that I'm focusing on right now to become much better at. And that's, don't over rely on AI. And chances are that you already are or will fall into this trap. I'm very, very sure that you will, or at least you would if you didn't watch this video. So that's very good that you're doing. But to avoid it, it's very simple actually. I'll just tell you straight away. And that's just having enough information about it. So I'm going to tell you, don't use AI as a beginner, because with 95% likelihood, it's going to just ruin your progress, slow you down. You might feel like you're productive, you might feel like you get a lot of things done. But the AI is going to give you just way too much information, more than you actually should get. And when you get so much information, it's just giving you the solution so you don't think yourself. It's no better than watching tutorials. Honestly, it's worse, because the AI is like specifically tailored to everything you want, and you get like a false sense that you can actually do things. So I think AI is even worse than tutorials even. And with 95% likelihood, just going to slow you down, because you aren't going to learn yourself. And obviously, since you're a beginner, you need to learn yourself. You can't become a game developer solely with AI. But this doesn't apply to everyone, obviously. When you get more advanced, then you can gradually increase your use of AI, because then you have like your fundamental knowledge to be critical and to actually implement the things that the AI writes to you, like very efficiently and like in a good way. But as beginner, we need the fundamental knowledge. We need the knowledge to be critical and to actually implement the things that the AI tells us to do. So when you are more advanced, then AI can be good. But right now, as beginner, just scrap AI, use Google. That's what I recommend. Use Google, no tutorials. Only use tutorials for like the basic things and concept overviews. No tutorials besides that. Basically, no AI. And no AI, that's like more of a general statement, but just to not overcomplicate it, don't use AI. Right now, you can use it for like quick questions or code reviews, but don't use it to like write this script for me. Don't do that. AI should be like a teacher. It should not write any code for you. It should not replace you in any way, especially at this stage as beginner. And also, inside of Smartini, this might be interesting to you, is that I'm currently working on a full AI guide, and that's just a bonus that you get inside at no extra cost. So the students inside are going to get this AI guide when it releases. And if you want to get it too, then you know where to find it. It's the first link in the description. And if that sounded interesting, then I'll see you there, obviously. So thank you for watching this video.